Alright, today I'm working on my 65 Impala and I'm going to put drop suspension on the front airbags and a drop spindle. Now I've seen in past cars that I've looked at where the camber is terrible on it and it pitches in on the top. Now what you can do to help that on these 65 Impalas, let me get under here where you can see it. There is a little eccentric that you can turn, and it actually will bring the lower control arm in as far as an inch to one side to help that wheel tipping in so bad when you drop it all the way down to the ground. Now if you adjust that in first, when you go to set your camber on the car, you can adjust this one back on the top. It's much easier to get to. You see I've got the wheel opening cut out for the airbag, and I've just cleaned and painted these lower control arms, and I'm going to put my brackets on for the airbag, and then we'll come back and we'll see how we're doing. Alright, what I've done is I've just raised the arm up and put one of my bolts through the holes. And I can put the ball joint on after I get this on. And there's a bracket that you can buy these kits. The bracket looks like this. And I'm not sure what this little top bracket's for, but this will sit right in there like that. You're supposed to go over this arm, and then there's holes that you need to drill in the sides, on both sides here. Now we might drill holes, we might weld it, I'm not sure. And then I'll put this bolt through here to secure it, and we'll see how it looks after that. Yeah, I knew that when I lowered the car that the front sway bar bushing would have to be shortened a little bit just because of the A-frame clearance. So I made a mark. It's about 3/4 of an inch that I'm going to cut off this one. We're going to shorten the bolt and make it so that the sway bar has better travel. There we go. Alright, here we've got the shortened sway bar bolt. You can see how much I cut off of that. Also up above here, it's really tight. I want to lay this on the frame if I can. So I'm going to notch out this extra to give plenty of clearance for this. Of course the bolt has to be cut off. I'm just showing you how much shorter it is. I also got my bolts in the side drilled and bolted in. Over here, top secured, and the ball joint just bolts in, which is sweet on these. They don't have to be pressed in. So there we go. I got one side kind of fit together. We're going to see if the airbag will go in and just see how it looks. Alright, now we're to the point where we're going to put in our airbag fitting to the top of the bag. And I've worked enough with these to know the difference in these and how to get them to seal. This pickle one right here, your basic Teflon tape, it will seal somewhat, but I've had a lot of leaks with that. I went to this, I tried this, which is a heavier, thicker gauge, and it does work very well. This is made for gas, and it's a PVC, it's like a yellow tape. This, ever since I started using this, I have fixed all of my leaks. They hold air in my bags for as long as I want to let it sit there. So my preference of all of these is this particular type for gas. Thank you. Alright, finally, let's try to stick the bag in, see how it's going to fit. I run my airline, I cut enough to go all the way to the very back of the car because I do not like splices. I'm going to run that down through. Now before this is all attached, I use compression fittings with inserts. They just seem to me like they work so much better. I've had the other style that leak. Now what I'll do also is I'm going to take a piece of this old heater hose that I have. I always have plenty of that laying around. And I will take and run it up through the inside here over the hose. On the inside, of course, over the top of the hose, so it sticks out so far so I know that there's no way it will cut coming through this. So it's just always, I'll show you how it looks when I get it all back together. Alright, this particular kit came with a long stud washer with a lock nut on it. What I did is I used my lock nut, didn't tighten it all the way down, threaded the rod down into the top of the airbag, and then once I knew it was threaded all the way in and I felt it tighten up, I used my needle nose vice grips, held the threaded rod so I could back the nut off, which wasn't tightened all the way on, it was just used to thread the rod. Now that it's loose, I can put my washers and secure it the rest of the way. Alright, here it is. We got the airbag installed on my 65 Impala. And I got good clearance around the bag. I also notched a little bit in this area to make sure that if I lowered it all the way down that the sway bar would have clearance here. I don't know that it will or not. I also shortened the sway bar spacer so that it would run at a lower stance and still clear everything. I used the bolt-on bracket. I believe that this is for a shock mount. It doesn't specify at all in the instructions what it's for, but I don't see any other place it might that you could mount a shock. You can't do it in the front because of everything, and in the back the steering arm, so you might have to go above this and come up, but we'll figure that out. So bag went in. I know why you have to use a 2500 bag, because a 2600 there's no way you'll get it in there. There's just not enough room. Also got this side finished up. It's pretty much a 3-4 hour job to put these in today. I'm just waiting on, I have 2-inch drop spindles that we're going to put on this because I really want this thing to lay flat, and hopefully it will. And I got my airbags, the lines run all the way a long piece to the rear, and I'll route them up under the frame later. Just want to make sure I add a one piece. Alright, hope this helps you guys that are putting the airbags in these Impalas, because up in here where that spacer is, you have to pretty much just turn it a little bit until you figure out a spot that's happy for you, because there was nothing in the instructions to say which way it went. Alright, thank you.